Hey guys, coffee chat time. I am just about to go into the Arvo sessions, and I got my coffee here. So, I had two good questions so far. So, the first question was about eating before training. So, go down the funnel is like it always depends to the person. It depends on you personally, whether you can or not, and it's all about experimentation. But on results based in the gym, for performance in the gym, you want to have the last solid meal 3 hours before you train, and then the last liquid meal an hour before you train. So classify meal as anything you eat. So if you have a banana, that's your meal. So that's going to be classified in the same category as a meal. Even though you might potentially think it's a snack, we're going to be starting to talk about the terminology of around food in this group soon as we go into the coaching program we're going to do. But we're going to basically class anytime you eat is a meal, whether it's a snack or not, or it's a main meal, you're going to just class them as a meal. And that way you're going to start looking at the way you view things a little bit different, because we don't need to snack. So we'll talk about that another time. But with training, personally what I do, if I train first thing in the morning, I won't eat anything until after I train. And that just makes, I feel okay doing that, and I am used to doing that. I used to fast for a long time. Sometimes I wouldn't eat until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then eat from 2 to 8, and then reset the next day. So it depends on you. And the rule of thumb is, if you don't eat before you train, do you feel like you can train okay? If you feel like you can train better if you eat before you train, then do that. There's no right or wrong answer. And there's no, for what we want to do in the gym, as we are general pop, we're not paid athletes, it's not massively important that we have to be at this massive peak, high threshold state all the time. We're literally showing up and doing the job we need to do to be strong, fit, and healthy. So just do whatever feels right to you, and judge it by how you feel during the workout. Do you feel good if you eat beforehand, or do you feel like you're going to spew it all up? If you feel like, hey Sandy, if you feel like you're going to spew it all up, don't eat beforehand, or eat something small. Bananas are my go-to because they're very easily digestible. But like a protein drink, like protein powder and water only, is a really good one as well. But otherwise, you can get away with not eating before training. So that's if it's early in the morning. If it's in the afternoon, you've eaten all day, you don't need to eat before training, you will be fine. Unless you get hungry at the time you're going to train, then I would have something about an hour beforehand and then leave the rest afterwards. But if you've been eating all day, and say your last meal was at lunchtime and you've already had breakfast and lunch, you will be fine to train without eating again. But judge it based on your feeling. Like if you feel like you need more food and energy to train, then I would definitely do it, because you feel better doing it, which is more important. You want to feel better. So if it makes you feel better eating before you train, do it. If it makes you feel worse eating before you're training, don't do it. That's the way. There's no right or wrong way with it, for what we want. We want fat loss, we want health, general fitness, all that kind of stuff. There's no real right or wrong way with the eating before training. Eating after training, hey Ash, eating after training, you got 30 hours, you got a 30-hour window. They used to say 1 hour. It's actually a 30-hour window to get food in after you train. So if you eat protein and enough carbs, hey Zonia, protein and enough carbs after training in that 30-hour window, you are fine. So do not stress about that. And what you're actually doing is fueling for your next workout. The food you ate before training, the days, the weeks, whatever, leading up to that training session, is what fueled you for that training session. And then the food you eat after that training session is fueling you for the next one. That's the best way to look at it. Sandy asked me, who is it that inspires me the most in fitness and health and stuff like that? And it's actually I would used to say things like athletes and stuff like that. It was this athlete, it was this athlete, it was this athlete, or whatever. Like Dan John, who's been around for 40 years in the fitness industry, and he's still going now. He's 60-something years old and still doing things that even I find super challenging. And so he's super inspirational. But generally, you guys, so people who are like busy parents, busy business owners, just busy people in general that still get in and get the job done without throwing up. Like everyone's got excuses for some things, but generally getting in, getting the work done, and finding a way to do something, whatever that something is. So instead of letting something be a barrier to you doing it, you figure out a way around it and still get forward. And a lot of you guys do that, and that inspires me to figure out ways to help you get around those barriers to get them forward. So that inspires me a ton. Like some of the stuff that you guys have gone through or going through or whatever, and still come in and train because that's what you like to do and it makes you feel better, inspires me to do the same thing. So yeah, that's what inspires me the most. Seeing people work through things that would sometimes derail people and make them fall off the wagon, but seeing you guys work through it and still keep showing up. So that's super cool. What other stuff's going on? We've got some exciting news coming soon, which I will share with you over the next couple of days. We're probably going to bring forward part of the phase 3 that we've got for opening up the gym. Might come forward to this year, when we were going to put it off until midway through next year. So some of that's actually going to happen this year, around September. So more news will come about that soon. The business name changed and the logos and stuff outside and in the gym. We're going to have some decals on the wall over there, which is going to look super cool. That's going to happen in August. We'll just say that, in August. We're waiting on solicitors and accountants to get the business set up. It is a hard time of the year. It's tax time. So wait on those two. When that ticks the box and they get the business name set up, then it's full ball straight into rebranding everything and getting everything set up under the new name, which I'm not going to tell you yet. Some of you know it already, but you can ask and find out who knows, that you'll all find out soon enough. We're going to have a merch stand in the gym. So we're going to have hoodies, shirts, drink bottles, coffee cups, all that kind of stuff, all branded with the new logo that you can see and look at and try on. And then if you want to order it, we can order it. And then within a week, it will be here for you to take home. So that's going to be cool. That's coming as well. What else is happening? Oh, the food, nutrition coaching, CJ Rubric Nutrition Coaching, or the new name, blank, blank, blank nutrition coaching. It's programs coming soon. I need feedback from you guys if you're happy to catch up in person for a 1 hour chat every week in the afternoon, in the middle of the day, or we want a group in the afternoon and one group in the middle of the day. And we'll probably kick that off in August once everyone balances out with whatever's going on with this crazy ass border crossing we've got going on. I think we're pretty good with that. If you guys got questions who are watching, throw me a question. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. Plunger coffee. Need a coffee machine. Plunger coffee is not as good. The 4:30 bring your kids session in the afternoon. We're going to take away for a little while. The border crossing has made it nearly impossible for people to rock up on time in the afternoon, and having to pick kids up, get to the gym for that session and then get home is just fine. It's pretty difficult. So understandably, no one's really booking in for that. So I'm just going to probably take it away for a bit and replace it with 2 semi-private sessions on the half hour and bring it back when people have demand for it again. Sandy asks, what do I think of intermittent fasting? I think it's great if you have no outside stresses. So fasting by design is a little bit of a stress. So it works really well if you have really good sleep, you don't have any kids, don't have work stress, all that kind of stuff. You have to have a lot of ducks in line to make intermittent fasting work. in saying that, you get a lot of benefit out of it because you can be very productive in the fasting period, because you need to be busy when you're fasting, otherwise you're just going to think about food the whole time. So a lot of people promote the idea of intermittent fasting makes you more productive, which is true, because you do a lot of work in that window, and then when you start eating, you get fatigued a little bit because you're eating, so you get a bit dopey and whatever. But the benefits there are benefits there where it promotes growth hormones and things like that. But you have to weigh it up with the overall stress you are under. If you are under a lot of stress now, intermittent fasting is probably the worst idea ever. And generally for most women, intermittent fasting isn't as successful as it is for men, only because the way the female cycle works, it's super challenging as you're building up into the cycle hitting, and then there's like a 2-week period where it's really hard, and a 2-week period where intermittent fasting would be really good. So if you cycle in and out of intermittent fasting, it works. But that time building up when your body's trying to retain water for the cycle to hit, it's really, really challenging to stick to. And then you get that like I failed feeling, and then it just adds up into a whole lot of other things. And also intermittent fasting for some women can stuff around with their hormones and bring down the thyroid and stuff like that and cause some more issues. But on the flip side of that, it can help. So it's very murky. I generally don't promote it to anyone anymore unless they already don't eat breakfast, and it's pretty easy. Yes, so Sonia, my sister, just said that she did it for a month and was mentally hard, which it really is. And yeah, sadly no physical results. So what tends to happen a lot is some people get like really early wins because they take out 1 or 2 meals and then they put in the food in that other window, the eating window. But generally what happens, the body will make you eat the food anyway because it's trying to keep you at the body weight you are, because it makes sense from makes sense from a scientific way, can't think of the word I'm looking for, that you have to stay the same body weight, because the more fat you have, the more chance you have of surviving if you can't find any food, which is what was an issue ages ago. We don't have that issue anymore, but the body still works the same. So the body will it's doing something that's very smart, but it will make you eat more food in that eating window to balance it out. So you still have to be in a deficit. So even if you are intermittent fasting, you have to be tracking in a way, either tracking your results or tracking your calories or something, to make sure you will lose weight. So intermittent fasting can be a quick fix early on, but you still, as your weight's going down too, you're still going to have to reduce your intake of food to match your drop in weight. So yeah, you got to be making sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. For health reasons, sometimes it can work really well. For fat loss reasons, there's an easier way. And the easiest way is just track to start with. Eat less food than what you're burning. I know it sounds really annoying. That's generally how it is. You have a way of measuring how much you're eating. Whether it's like you just measure once a week and you reduce your food by thought, which is really hard to do. You can do it. Or you do hand portions, which is my favorite because it's super quick. Or you track calories, which is the most accurate, but it's still not super accurate and it's really mundane. You got to do those kind of things. And then, so my favorite way at the moment, this is my best favorite way for people to do things, is like no more snacking. That's a really easy way to reduce calories. Eat 4 to 6 hours between meals. This is part of what's going to be in the nutrition program. So 4 to 6 hours between meals. If you want a snack, you want to plate it up, put it aside, and eat it at the next meal window, which is the 4 to 6 hours. The only reason you eat is if you're like literally so hungry you're about to put your head through a wall. You need to eat something, eat it. And then that tends to work so well for getting people into that calorie deficit they need. And then we start looking at portions on the plate at each meal. And that is the simplest way. It's like 3 or 4 steps that you need to do to start figuring out how to balance out your meals. It makes such a huge difference. Someone else said, will you be streaming live gym sessions for non-locals? I can actually do that for people who don't want to come into the gym. We are thinking of doing it. Hey Zach, Zach's probably next door watching right now, actually. Yeah, I'm going to start streaming some live workouts. Pretty much the workouts I'm going to be doing for building overall strength for the obstacle racing stuff, which the general overall strength I need is the same as general all over strength that everyone needs. But if people want me to do a workout that they can follow along with, and they've got a goal that they want to train for, tell me, and I'll show you how I would actually train you for that workout, and then you can just keep repeating that workout over and over again. So yeah, so that's an awesome idea, especially if anything ever happens and we get in lockdown again. So that's not going away. We've stopped it at the moment because everyone's kind of back in the gyms now, kind of going back to normal. We didn't want to overwhelm people, but we're happy to bring it back when we need to. And the good thing is we have the space to record some really good videos for you to see how the movements all work. Thanks to Zach, funnily enough, because Zach was the one who organised the space for us. Cheers, bud. Anyone got any other questions while I drink my coffee? Something else I was going to mention. Something really awesome. Oh, if you guys got equipment requests, make sure you let us know if there's anything you want. We all know you all want a ski erg. For number one, everyone wants the ski erg back. We're looking for one. They're unavailable in Australia. Everything's really hard to find at the moment. So we're on the hunt for a ski erg. So if you ever see one pop up in Buy Swap Sells or anywhere, let us know because we will get one. We haven't been able to find one yet. Everything's on back order till August 2020/2021, the way things get delivered at the moment. And we will get a ski erg when that happens. The open gym area is going to be brought forward a little bit. We will announce the date when the open gym starts. Some of you guys have met Alex. Alex has been cruising around doing work experience. We're going to work around on, once he gets his Cert 3, he's going to be in here doing coaching with me. So we can build our groups at the busy times, which is at 5:36 in the morning, and a few other times like the Bring Your Kids session on Monday, Thursday, to up to 12. So we're going to try and open up the spots for those peak times that people want. Instead of trying to force you guys to spread out, if that's the times you want, we will open up more spots at that time so you can come in and train then. Because we have the space to train up to 18 people upstairs here with plenty of room. So if we work with one coach up to 6. Once we get to 7, it's 2 coaches up to 12, and then once we get to 13, it is 3 coaches from 13 onwards. Are there any like OCRs going around here this year to your knowledge? Slightly off topic, but sorry. So yeah, OCR. The government has told Spartan. This isn't super public knowledge, but you guys aren't going to share it around anyway. The government told Spartan to push ahead despite what is going on in Australia to get the Bright Trifecta weekend up and running, no matter what's going on in the infection rates or whatever, because they just want things to go back to normal. Hence the 10,000 people in the crowd in New South Wales and all that kind of stuff. They really just want things to go open up to some degree because they think they believe they have the capacity to handle whatever's going to happen with the blowout of Rona. So they want to come back to normal. Victoria's blowing up pretty hard, and we saw everyone knows it's in lockdown. So I actually can't see the Bright Trifecta ever happening, and it's getting to the point now where they're going to have to announce it soon, so people can adjust their training for it. But they could potentially announce it a month out and say, "Hey, we're doing it," and then everyone tries and signs up. But like, we can't travel to Victoria, and like, no one's going to come down and do a race and then go home and quarantine for 2 weeks afterwards. Admittedly, you're pretty sore, but you probably won't do it. So I don't think anything will happen until next year. And to be honest, I actually thought November was really going to go ahead with the way the first lockdown went. And I thought they will actually come back in August because they had locked in dates for all the ones they moved. So we were going to have a race in August, September, October, November, December. There was going to be one every month. And they've had to cancel August, and they're going to cancel September. They're going to cancel October. So I was not super surprised, but just a bit bummed that we couldn't do it. So my thought process is on to next year now. And trying to do virtual races like the one I did do, but they're not as fun. It's good. It's okay if you're doing it with someone, but we're not meant to do that in Victoria at the moment. You can do it in South Wales. But yeah, I think they're gone for a little bit. All the big ones overseas, like the World Spartan Championship, that's been canned to next year. The one in Dubai they had planned has been canned to next year. The one in Sweden, which has been moved to America, this is for the Ultra Championship, it's been canned to next year. A few other things have been canned to next year as well. So a lot of big sporting events around the world have been bumped, so they're going to bump ours as well, I reckon. Any chance of recovery, stretching type lessons, perhaps yoga related? Kerry, you can go into the units of this group, and I did a video 5 days a week, which went for 5 to 20 minutes on all types of recovery, foam rolling, stretching, everything. And I did it all through Rona. So there's 3 months worth there. Go to the RWAD unit in the unit section, and you can find it in there. So I'm going to start doing them again because I want to start doing them again for myself. So I'm going to start recording them for you guys. So I will start doing a live one every day, probably from Monday next week, once I get on top of all the meetings and stuff I've been doing this week, getting the business organised. But yeah, those RWADs are coming back because I want to do them because I felt better. I felt amazing doing them every day. And since opening the gym, I haven't had time to do them. I haven't had time. And I'm going to just make time to do them again. So I'm going to record them for you guys. And you guys keep me accountable by recording them. So if you want to join in, you can do them with me. So the way the RWAD works, Kerry, is during the day, you pretty much, or the day before, you let me know what feels sore, what feels niggly, what feels funky. And I'll do a video on how to try and help release whatever that is going on. All right, I've got about, we're going to start sessions again in about 15 minutes. So thanks for listening. And then or throw questions in the group or on the comments in this and stuff like that. And I'll come back here and do another video tomorrow if I need to, or even just next week. But yeah, coffee chat out. RWAD's changed my movement range heaps. Yeah, message Sandy and see. We'll try and post the video again. Sandy wasn't able to get like a full range squat, and she did RWADs basically every time we put them up throughout the whole of Rona, and now she's able to do a full range deep squat just from the stuff we were doing through Rona. And even things like me for my shoulder. I nearly blew my shoulder out last year. Didn't have time to do the rehab through Rona. Trained my ass off on my shoulder and did the RWADs every day and had no issues. Coming back into the gym. And we've been, 3-4 weeks and just been busy, and you neglect things when things get crazy. The important stuff rises to the top and you feel like the other stuff goes away. RWADs need to be important. For your recovery, I find I train way better if I focus more on recovery versus training. Recovery first, my training picks up anyway. If I go training first and skip the recovery, my training slowly drops down. So if that helps, recovery first and training comes up with it. So we're going to bring that back in and start focusing on it again. Everyone has things that drop off. As long as you pick it up and start again, you're good. All right, guys. See ya.